Yeah. Yeah, it was rough. That was a rough one.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids. I need to...
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my! Delete everything. Delete everything.
You know, it's
Sad.
It is sad, and I think sports are really the best way for kids to learn.
Celeste Rivas' death is starting to look way bigger than just a body turning up in David's trunk. People are whispering that this isn't some simple crime scene, it's a tangled web of secrets and lies. And now, Joe Rogan's explosive comments about the case are lighting up the entire internet. David's situation keeps spiraling out of control, with new jaw-dropping details surfacing every single day. The public can't stop connecting the dots, and what's being revealed is so wild it's even shocking investigators who thought they'd seen it all. The truth is starting to look like Celeste had deeper, darker ties to David than anyone first realized. This isn't just about a tragic body found in a trunk anymore, it's about cryptic lyrics, suspicious timelines, and resurfaced footage that all hint at something much bigger. Fans are turning into detectives, piecing things together while real investigators scramble to keep up. The energy around this case is intense, and every new leak is making people question everything they thought they knew about Celeste, David, and everyone tied to them. Each new detail feels darker and heavier than the last. And the first real twist that's got everyone talking: David's lyrics. People are replaying his track Decide over and over, dissecting every single line and pointing out words that now sound like a confession. I know what the problem is. Save your tears. 7 years. I know life is complicated. You don't have to say no more. Don't know if I'm going to make it. We both have to find a way to work it out. My head is aching. You're the one that started this. When it first dropped, nobody thought twice, it sounded like just another emotional song about heartbreak. But now, in the shadow of Celeste's tragedy, those lyrics are being read like a secret message. The internet is buzzing with theories about what they really meant. What's truly unsettling is the 7 years line. At first, it seemed like a random poetic detail, but after people discovered Celeste had known David since she was young, that lyric started to sound far more suspicious. The timing feels chilling, and fans are convinced those bars weren't random at all. They're combing through every song, every old video, every hidden clue, treating it like an open investigation. That lyric doesn't just sound eerie, it feels haunting, like David left a countdown hidden in plain sight inside his music. People say this can't be brushed off as coincidence, they believe it's a coded message. And the crazy part? Once you notice it, you can't unhear it. But that's not the only song raising eyebrows. Another track, Romantic Homicide, has fans absolutely shook. It dropped on September 7, 2022, which just so happens to be Celeste's birthday. He literally released the song on her 12th birthday, and fans can't get over how chilling that timing looks now. The track's lyrics paint a dark picture of someone imagining taking a life, talking about it being in the back of his mind, with no regret. Now, people can't help but connect those words to the timeline, the upload date, and everything that's unfolded since. Investigators aren't ignoring it either. With every lyric pulled apart, the case is starting to look less like music, and more like a confession disguised as a love song. Back when it first dropped, people brushed it off as just another edgy heartbreak anthem. But now, it's hitting completely differently, like a full-on confession hidden behind melody. Fans online are losing their minds, shouting, "How was this missed?" and "Why didn't anyone put the pieces together sooner?" It's almost impossible to believe nobody caught the meaning back then. And now, with Joe Rogan weighing in and the internet in overdrive, what started as a mystery around Celeste Rivas' death is unraveling into something much darker, and it's only just beginning. It only made everything creepier. One line in particular stands out heavily now. "I don't care how long it takes, as long as I'm with you." At release, it sounded harmless, maybe even sweet. But today, people swear it reads like David was waiting until Celeste was old enough before going public with whatever was happening. That interpretation has fans completely shaken because the timing and wording are just too sharp to ignore. But the situation didn't stop there, it got even worse. Photos began surfacing from one of David's concerts. They're grainy, but still clear enough to make out faces. And allegedly, they show Celeste herself in the crowd while David is seen waving directly at her. That single image alone sent shockwaves through social media.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids. I need
Really good.
Okay,
It's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete.
People are saying it changes everything they thought they knew about David's connection to Celeste. If that turns out to be true, it completely wrecks any defense he's been clinging to about not knowing her. She wasn't some stranger, she was right there, watching him perform, living inside his world while he waved back at her from the stage. That alone paints a whole new picture of their connection and makes the story even harder to brush off. Then came the real bombshell, a resurfaced podcast clip that's now going viral everywhere.
I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga, and I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. The story of the manga went like I was a detective and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden, and he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. So like when I was as a detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing.
The footage shows David and Celeste talking in a way that's got people stunned, discussing topics far too grown for her age. Viewers are calling it straight from the Epstein playbook, saying no grown man should ever be on that kind of subject matter with a minor. And now that she's gone, those old clips aren't quirky or funny anymore. They're being passed around as receipts, cold evidence of a relationship that never should have happened. But it goes even darker than that. David once described having an evil anime character that commits crimes, something he claimed was just a creative persona. Back then, fans laughed it off, chalking it up to him being artistic and edgy. But now, people are calling it a mask, a dark alter ego he used to speak through, saying the things he couldn't admit as himself. One user on X posted a comment that hit hard, an evil version of me, explaining that it translates to pain in Japanese. Fans are saying David should be held accountable just for that cringeworthy statement alone. And while the internet debates it, many are sending heartfelt condolences to Celeste's family as this story grows heavier by the day. Things went from wild to downright surreal when Joe Rogan himself joined the conversation. He said the whole case broke his heart, calling it flat out sad. But he didn't stop there, he went straight into the lyrics, the dates, the so-called hidden clues, laying it all out like a map. Then he dropped one heavy line that's been echoing all across the internet. Kids of today don't learn. He pointed directly to Celeste's risky behavior. Reports revealed that Celeste often ran away from home without her family or friends even knowing, moving through the city, chasing danger and thrills. Joe Rogan wasn't blaming her, but he was brutally honest about what he saw, a culture of kids moving recklessly, making choices without thinking of the consequences. He said that's exactly the kind of setup that allows tragedies like this to happen. His take wasn't sugar-coated, and it hit like a punch in the chest. That single comment cut deep because it opened up a bigger, harsher picture. Celeste wasn't just a victim, she was a young girl living wild. And in the eyes of many, that might have made her an easier target. Social media exploded over his words, some agreed that society needs to protect kids better, while others said Rogan was out of line for even suggesting it. Either way, his take shifted the conversation from just David's actions to a broader cultural warning, making this case feel bigger than one tragedy. It's now a mirror of how risky youth culture can turn deadly. And when you run the timeline back, things turn bone-chilling. In March 2022, David dropped Aside, the track with that haunting, Save Your Tears, 7 years, lyric. Back then, nobody thought twice.
Yeah, it was rough. That was a rough one.
But 2 months later, in May 2022, David tweeted something cryptic about a girl wanting to be taken where I belong, and the age mentioned was 11. That lined up perfectly with Celeste's age at the time, and fans looking back are now calling it a dead giveaway. By July 2022, things got even heavier. David dropped Romantic Homicide on the exact day of Celeste's birthday, making people wonder if it was timed on purpose. Then, in October 2022, leaked Discord chats began spreading online, allegedly showing David asking if Celeste was logged in, and then she appeared in the thread right after. Fans were floored at how direct that looked in hindsight. Fast forward to December 2023, and it became impossible to ignore. A song literally titled Celeste was recorded, while photos of the two together began surfacing. And just when people thought it couldn't get any clearer, March 2024 Discord conversations dropped, showing a fan straight up saying David was dating a girl named Celeste, with no hesitation. To a lot of people, this timeline reads like a trail of breadcrumbs, each one tying him closer to her in ways that feel impossible to explain away. By April 2024, the story took a chilling turn. Celeste disappeared completely from her family's life.
Late last week, Los Angeles police searching a home in Hollywood Hills that the singer was staying at, removing several items.
No calls. No visits. No explanations. Just gone. Months later, in August 2024, things got even stranger when a Discord user actually requested a song about a missing girl, and named her directly as Celeste Rivas. That detail alone had people frozen. Like, how could someone already be asking for that before the full truth even came out? Then September 2024 arrived, and Celeste turned 14. But instead of a normal teenage birthday, the internet got rocked by the first photo of her flashing a tattoo, a tiny design inked on her finger, the exact same symbol David had shown in one of his videos. That single image set social media on fire, with fans claiming the matching tattoos were a secret link between them all along. And finally, September 2025, what should have been another birthday milestone, turned into a nightmare. Instead of celebrating turning 15, Celeste's body was discovered stuffed inside the trunk of David's abandoned Tesla. That ending turned the whispers and suspicions into a full-blown horror story, leaving fans and investigators convinced this case had been unraveling in plain sight for years. The timeline doesn't read like random coincidence anymore. It reads like a slow, calculated connection that spiraled into tragedy. But just when it felt like it couldn't get heavier, it did. The LAPD came crashing down on David's Hollywood Hills home, swarming the place and walking out with stacks of evidence bags. Late last week, Los Angeles police confirmed they searched the property where the singer had been staying. Witnesses say officers hauled out multiple items, including his personal computer. Not long after, call records surfaced, allegedly tying David directly to Celeste. That revelation left fans and the media in complete shock, because now it wasn't just about music or rumors. It looked like hard evidence stacking against him. The backlash didn't just hit, it obliterated his entire career overnight. His upcoming tour, cancelled. His highly anticipated deluxe album, shelved indefinitely. All promotional appearances and press stops, frozen on the spot. Even worse, his label moved lightning fast to distance themselves, cutting ties before the story could burn them too. Brands that once flaunted his image instantly erased every trace of him, like he never existed. No company, no sponsor, no platform wanted to be linked to his name anymore. The silence around his name became louder than any song he'd ever dropped. Meanwhile, over in Lake, Celeste's hometown, the mood turned heavy and heartbreaking. The entire community was in mourning, and it wasn't just grief anymore. It was rage and demand for answers. To them, this wasn't just a headline or an internet rumor. This was their daughter, their neighbor, their loss.
I didn't know her personally. I just want justice for this little girl. I don't want her to be forgotten.
Their friend, a bright young life stolen far too soon. People filled the streets, speaking with raw emotion. One voice broke through the noise saying, "I didn't know her personally. I just want justice for this little girl. I don't want her to be forgotten." That kind of pain echoed everywhere, leaving the entire town shaken. And while Celeste Rivas' hometown stood together in sorrow, online the energy flipped almost overnight. At first, fans were screaming out in David's defense, swearing up and down that he was being framed, claiming the only reason he was in the spotlight was because his career was on the rise. But as the evidence piled up and the stories started connecting, those same voices went silent. The hashtags vanished. The defenders disappeared. The support that once propped him up online collapsed like it was never even there. Now the internet feels colder, as people realize this wasn't hype or rumor, it was a real tragedy that shattered real lives. What's left hanging in the air right now is pure suspicion, anger, and a desperate demand for answers. People all over are asking the same question: why hasn't he been arrested yet? With the mountain of evidence stacking up, fans can't wrap their heads around the silence from authorities. One user wrote, "How is he not in custody or even being interviewed as a suspect with all of this evidence?" The frustration is boiling over online, and pressure on investigators keeps climbing by the day. Another post cut straight through the noise. "Originally, I thought D4vd could be innocent, because you'd have to be so stupid to hide a body in your own car and just think it would magically disappear. But seeing all the suspicious messages, photos, and even the lyrics from his own songs, he really does seem just that stupid." That line went viral because it summed up exactly what so many people were thinking, disbelief mixed with horror. Tributes to Celeste keep pouring in across every platform, with messages like, "Rest in peace, Celeste," flooding timelines and comment sections. And even if, by some twist, David didn't physically commit the crime, fans are reminding everyone that he still crossed a line by allegedly being involved with a minor, something that stains his image forever. At this point, fans are saying it flat out, time to lock bro up. The same people who once rallied behind David and defended him are now the ones firing off the hardest questions. If he was really innocent, why didn't he claim the Tesla when it got towed? Why let it sit abandoned until the smell gave everything away? That kind of silence doesn't look like innocence, it looks like guilt. The whole situation feels like he thought the car, and what was inside, would somehow disappear on its own. And people can't believe he really moved that recklessly. Now, his entire music catalog is under a new kind of spotlight, and fans are replaying track after track like it's a hidden diary, searching for the truth buried between every line.
You know, it's
Sad.
it is sad, and I think sports are really the best way for kids to learn it.
What once sounded like creative metaphors now reads like a confession hiding in plain sight. One fan wrote, "Many of his songs include lyrics that hint at the death of his significant other, even killing them, too." But through all this chaos, Joe Rogan's words are still ringing in people's ears, "Kids of today don't learn." Celeste Rivas had a habit of running off, slipping away from home without anyone knowing where she went. For a 13-year-old, that kind of behavior wasn't just reckless, it was dangerous. And maybe, just maybe, it played a role in pulling her close to David in ways no one around her could stop. But even with that, there's one thing nobody can explain away: how her dismembered remains ended up locked inside the trunk of his abandoned Tesla. That single fact stands like a shadow over everything else, leaving the world trapped between questions and speculation. Was Celeste's death just a heartbreaking coincidence, born from risky choices and bad judgment? Or was David carefully weaving this nightmare into his music the whole time, hiding the truth in plain sight while the world danced to his songs? The questions won't stop until the truth finally comes out, and fans are demanding answers louder than ever. So, what do you think? Was this just a tragedy of bad decisions, or something much darker, planned out bar by bar? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, let us know your take, hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. And until next time, see you on the next one.